sound coming through? Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. About 10 minutes ago, there was more people up here than out here, so I was starting to get worried. So thank you all for coming. It's a joy to see you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to those of you online, joining us online, and welcome to each of you coming here today. Welcome to Emerson Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name's Reverend Deborah Bennett, and you know it is my delight to be here, as I hope it is your delight as well. A couple things I want to say about Unitarian Universalism. We declare that love is love. We declare that Black lives matter. We declare that climate change is real, that all genders are holy, whole, and good, that no human is illegal. And we declare that women's rights are human rights. And this is not on our sign, but I'm going to say that we declare that a woman has autonomy over her body, and I want an amen. Please do what you can do to spread that word to those who make that decision. Today we begin our monthly theme of joy. Yay! I want to say I don't often tell things that already happened that you missed out because I don't want you to feel bad for missing out. But yesterday, about 25 of us gathered here, and we got to watch a movie called Mission Joy. And it's a movie about the relationship between the Dalai Lama and the Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Who was here? I know a few of you were there. It was just awesome. I cried so hard seeing the amount of love and joy that these two men had for each other and sharing the hardships in their lives and how they spoke about how to embrace joy even in the face of those hardships. That in fact, it's not even in the face of, but that joy is the answer to those hardships. So I invite you today to allow joy to capture your heart. We have many things to celebrate. We are going to light our Advent candle this morning. If I can find something to light it with. Everybody close your eyes. Here we go. So the Advent is the advent of the coming of consciousness, the coming of the light. So we light our first candle for hope and our second candle for peace this morning. I think I have these in the right order. I might not. And I'm not going to light the menorah out of respect for that usually being lit at night, but today is also the seventh day of Hanukkah, the joy of the miracle of the continuation of the light. And today we're going to celebrate the joy of the mystic heart. So I really invite you to take this next hour of your life, to let it be a pause from all of your activity, and let the words and the music and the silence that we will share soothe you and hold you and heal you. I do want to also take one little note to say that order of service you got, I changed it late in the game, so it didn't get reprinted. So we're going to be in the mystery about that too. So today's all about mystery. It was a mystery for Bruce, wondering when I was going to get out here, wasn't it? Please join me and rise. Let's open with our opening hymn, Let Us Sing. What number is that anyway? 368. That is in the gray hymnal. Please raise your voices with our choir.
Now let us sing. Sing to the power of the sing, sing. Now let us sing. Sing to the power of the sing. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing. Sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing. Sing to the power of the love within. Now let us sing. Sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice.
Yep.
Good morning,
Morning.
and welcome to Emerson Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Jeffrey Jacoby, and I am a member of the choir, the story troupe, and also part of the worship team, which is why I'm the worship associate today. As Unitarian Universalists, we embrace a wide variety of theological ideas and practices, and we honor the inherent worth and dignity of all. So no matter who you are, what you believe, where you are from, or who you love, you are welcome here. Each Sunday, we light a candle of acknowledgement and remembrance for the Cherokee and Muskogee nations of people who lived on this land before us. May this candle humbly remind us of our interconnection and the impact of our collective actions. May there be healing in all nations of people. Also, each Sunday, we light our chalice. Its light is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism and a reminder of our commitment to be a beacon of love and hope to all who enter here, whether that be in person or virtually. And today's chalice lighting words are from Ken Kesey. I've never seen anybody really find the answer, but they think they have, so they stop thinking. But the job is to seek mystery, evoke mystery, plant a garden in which strange plants grow and mysteries bloom. The need for mystery is greater than the need for an answer. And now, in the spirit of the beloved community and connection, let's greet and welcome each other to worship as we all share our congregational affirmation, we need not think alike to love alike. I invite you to move around and introduce yourselves to someone you do not know. Online folks, please use the chat to introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone.
Can everybody hear okay? Can you hear me? Thank you.
My name is Beth Klein, and I serve this congregation as the Director of Family Ministries. I'm also a part of the pastoral care team, which is a real honor. And we're available, the pastoral care team folks are available with listening ears and caring hearts to support you during challenging times. Each Sunday, we pause to share personal joys, sorrows, and concerns of the Emerson UU community. If you want to contact pastoral care, our team has an email address, and you can share a joy, sorrow, or concern at this email address, or if you just like to have someone give you a ring to be a heartfelt listener. That address is pastoralcare@emersonuu.org. When you're with us in person, we also invite you to write your joy, sorrow, or concern in this yellow book that is on the pastoral care table inside the main entry doors. Reverend Deborah will light our candles today as we light our vigil bowl. Its light reflects the joy of hope for peaceful resolution of all conflicts on our planet. And I share this joy with you today. From Michelle Joquet, who thanks the Buddhist Sitting Group Adult Religious Ed Committee for sponsoring the inaugural Saturday movie matinee. We enjoyed Mission Joy and We'll Spread the Joy. That was a lot of fun yesterday. And those are two separate groups, the Buddhist Sitting Group and then the Adult Religious Ed Committee. We have one sorrow today that's listed. It's from Art Wickman and his family. Please think of Art and his family, extended family, as they grieve the loss of his brother, Roger, who died unexpectedly on Wednesday, December 2nd in Wichita, Kansas. We also know that there are joys and sorrows that are too tender and may not be spoken. Please feel free to say out loud or type into the chat if you're watching on YouTube the name of someone you are holding close in your heart today. Mike. Now let us send our heartfelt, caring intentions to all those names that have been spoken and our listings here, and to all beings everywhere by offering the Buddhist prayer of loving kindness. Please repeat these words after me. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May they be free from harm and suffering. May they be well in body, heart, and mind. May they be at peace. Blessed be.
Thank you, Beth, for sharing those joys and sorrows. Here at Emerson, our vision is to be a radically inclusive, open-minded, beloved community that is a vibrant source of peace, hope, and healing in the world. We know we cannot live this vision alone, and so each month we partner with another organization and encourage our members and friends to support the work they do, both financially and with action. Today's Share the Basket is for El Refugio. El Refugio has its roots in Georgia Detention Watch, whose members began leading groups to visit immigrants and asylum seekers detained at Stewart Detention Center located in the remote southern Georgia town of Lumpkin. After witnessing the challenges shared by those visiting loved ones at Stewart, a group of friends established El Refugio. In 2010, El Refugio opened a hospitality house offering meals and lodging at no cost. Perhaps more importantly, they offer friendship and support to the loved ones of immigrants and asylum seekers who are detained there. Our financial support makes a difference, and this month we have the opportunity to support in 2 additional ways. Next Sunday, please join our ARE session where we will be writing holiday cards to be sent to those incarcerated at Stewart Detention Center. We also have the opportunity to support those leaving the detention center by providing them with much-needed clothing. People who request it receive a backpack with essential items when they are finally released, whether it is to remain here in the States or they are deported. In our Emerson Acts room located outside the main doors to the sanctuary, you will find information about how to contribute to these backpacks. This is one small but important way we can support individuals in their time of need. As our donation baskets go around, please feel free to offer a donation by cash or check, or take a card which describes other ways to give, and enjoy a lollipop just for the fun of it. All donations, unless otherwise specified, are shared equally with Emerson and our partner organization, El Refugio. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your generosity, and I do want to just shout out to our new justice room. So we call it the Emerson Acts room, and so it's that room right as you're coming in the front door to the left, and you'll see some bulletin boards. It's still in the process of the creation, but the idea is that this will be a room, it's kind of like one-stop shopping for all of our justice work. So you'll see bulletin boards about different areas of justice that we're working with, ways to educate yourself, and also ways to get engaged. So please, on Sunday mornings when you stop by, make sure you make that part of your morning ritual. And now let's please take a moment to go off the order of service and rise in body or spirit. I'm going to invite us into another hymn, because, the last one was beautiful, but you guys didn't sing that much. Which I get it, they did such a good job, but I want to give you guys a chance to sing. So let's pull out our teal hymnals. And this is a oldie but goodie. I know it's a favorite of many, and it speaks so strongly to our UU faith when our heart is in a holy place. It is number 1008 in the teal hymnal. My joy level is just so up here right now. I cannot tell you. No, you can come up and stop me from talking. It's your turn. I'm just telling everybody. It's so good to see you and hear you sing. If you take your mask off, we'll be able to hear you better.
Can you hear me? Okay, awesome. So the young and the young at heart, come up here. We're going to hear a story, okay?
So little kids, older folks, everyone would come by and ask things. They'd ask, why is the sky blue? And they'd flip through the book. And they go, oh, okay, butterflies. They go, butterflies? They go, yeah. So a long time ago, it says right here, a bunch of blue butterflies flew up, they got lost, and they've been there ever since. So that makes sense, right? No? Okay, well, because, right? Yeah, well, and what happens at night, right? What happens at night? So that's the next question the kids asked. They went, and they said, okay, okay, so at nighttime, a giant spider comes up, right? And it makes a big web. And that's why everything's all dark, because it blocks out the sun. Well, that's right. No, you're right. And they also have the stars, right? And that's where the spider misses the spot, because it's a big job. It's a big sky. So they'd ask questions like that. Why is the... Exactly, right? But if it says it in the book, it's got to be true. I mean, no? Oh my gosh. So, dude, that's so funny you say that, Aurora, because there was actually a little girl that said the same thing. She said, I don't trust that book. That doesn't make sense. So late at night, one night, as little mischievous kids are wont to do, they snuck around. Do-do, do-do, do. I can't do any more, else we'll get a copyright strike, I think. But they went over to the building where they keep them. They went up to the window and they went, okay. Okay, and they went in, whoop, whoop, whoop. They snuck in, okay? Tiptoe, 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 tiptoe. They found the book. And they opened it up, and what do you think was inside? Nothing. What? Have you read this before? That is illegal, Aurora. You're not allowed to do that. I don't even know how to read. So yeah, the book was empty, right? So one of the wise people came out, and they put their hand on the little kid's shoulder, and they kind of explained, how everything worked, right? And they said that, they came up with answers because people wanted to have answers, right? It's kind of scary not to have answers sometimes, isn't it? And the little kid said, well, I don't like that. And they had a plan that they were going to go out and they're going to tell everyone, the book is empty, the book is blank, and if you want to know the truth, we got to figure it out together. So the next day, that's what they did. They painted some signs. They stood outside just like we do outside Emerson sometimes when we want to tell people stuff. And what do you think people did? Do you think they joined up? So a few people did, right? Plenty of people said, I like the butterfly idea. And other people said, I don't really care that much. I'm comfortable. But some people, they wanted to know, right? So they all kind of got together, and they started to do their own little search for truth. And do you think that they were happier doing that? Without the book to tell them what everything was? Yeah. You do? Okay. Why?
Because I think people will be happier knowing the truth than knowing lies.
Well, that's the problem they ran into, is that a lot of the time there wasn't just one answer to these questions that they had. And there wasn't just one answer that people liked. So eventually what they decided on is that the important things were things that we really couldn't know, or we couldn't know for sure, right? So it's stuff like here, right? Community and love and friendship and all that. Those are the important things we can know. We can't really see them or measure them. And why is the sky blue, or questions like that, maybe those don't matter. Maybe it's okay to not think alike to love alike. Brian, do you guys like that? Is that a good moral? All right. Deborah, you crack me up, man. Okay, so that's it. We're going to go up. We're going to go sing our song of dedication, all right?
Serve humankind in fellowship, as do
Thank you, Noel. I emailed Noel earlier in the week, and I was like, Noel, what's your story going to be? And he said, well, I thought this was, a service on mystery. And I was like, all right, I'll keep it a mystery. So you did well. You did well. So when I was 22, I moved in a yoga ashram, complete with a Indian guru and celibacy and vegetarian diet and no money and 7 days a week of work. But we also had worship, or what we called satsang. Satsang is translated as in the company of truth. And so most nights we got together and we did our satsang. We did our worship service. And one night in particular stands out for me. I was in the small ashram. The ashram I was part of had a smaller and a larger one. And at the time I was living in the smaller ashram, maybe only about 60 or 70 residents. And on this day, because the big ashram had hundreds and hundreds of residents, but on this day the guru had come to see us in the small ashram, which was a very cool thing because you were in a small group. And so we went in and we did what we normally did, and we started chanting. And we chanted, and when we chant Indian Hindu chants. Some of them you might be familiar with, right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and we would start slow. And then we would build, and it would build, and it would build, and it would build. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the drums would be going, and we would be chanting, and we would be dancing. Now, pretty much all Hindu chants mean one thing when they translate: yay, God. So Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, we're just yaying to the God of love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, we're yaying to the God of sustenance. So we would chant and we would chant and we would chant till we really were sweating and dancing and chanting and chanting and chanting, and then we would sit. And we would sit down, and when we sat, the guru would come out to teach. But as he often did, when he came out, the first thing he did wasn't to talk in words. He would get the harmonium out as well and get a drone going, and he would just start making sounds. And as he made sounds, I kid you not, it was like a wave of heat would come through the room, and so many of us would just start crying. People would be shaking on the ground and lying on the ground, flailing about, and the waves would just come. The energy was just so high. And then he went on and he taught, and I have no idea what he taught that night. I had no idea what he taught most nights. Most nights we would all come out of satsang being like, wow, he spoke right to me. What did he say? I have no idea. And it didn't matter. But on this night, I came out of satsang, and I was especially just drenched in spirit. And I remember walking out, and in this ashram that I lived, the satsang, the hall was down below, and then you walked up these steps into the woods, and across the woods, maybe about a quarter mile, and that's where the women's dorm was, because, of course, the men and women lived separately, and that's where I lived, was up there. And so I left satsang that night after everyone else, and I remember walking through the woods, and an ecstasy took hold of my body that was so big, I literally just started stripping off my clothing and running through the woods, laughing hysterically. And I just laid down, and that's all I needed for my whole life was that moment. And there were other moments like that in the ashram. These moments where ecstasy just came and grabbed me. It was a mystical and magical experience. And I did not understand it. I sure could not recreate it with any formula. It didn't happen every week. I didn't know what it was, and you know what? I didn't need to know. But at the very fundamental level, it changed me. Other types of experiences like that would hold me over the 4 years there, each slightly shifting who I knew myself to be. And then one day, I left the ashram and arrived back into the secular world once again. Now, I do not often talk about my ashram experiences because I'm sure of how to frame them, how to put them into the context of normal life. Life where people do not usually spontaneously cry or shake, and where if you feel a wave of hot energy coming toward you, you usually run like hell, for surely something has just exploded. For a long time, I did not share about these experiences at all. It was like I was protecting that perfectly intact conch shell that you found on the beach, and I feared that if I talked about them or took them off the shelf, that I would somehow spoil them or break them in some way. And yet I secretly longed for them to come back, to stir up my life again with that ecstatic bliss. And then I had children. Don't know where I'm going to go next, do you? When my first daughter was 3 weeks old, I took her to the ashram to meet my guru. And in the dining room, I walked past some of the renunciates. Now, the renunciates were those that had taken lifetime vows of celibacy, renouncing all worldly goods and making a dedication for life to the practices. I looked at one of the most austere brother of them all. We called each other brother and sister. I looked at one of the most austere brothers and spontaneously began to laugh. There I was, having not slept for more than a few hours at a stretch for weeks or eaten more than a few bites of food at one sitting, able to count the number of showers that lasted more than 5 seconds on one hand, wearing clothing with spit-up stains, and oh yeah, there was some fresh spit-up too. And there he was in his clean saffron robes, well slept and well meditated. You have no clue what renunciation is, dude. I said under my breath, but my mystic heart was tingling because I knew I had touched something there in that spit up. But the years passed and I found myself losing touch with my ashram afterglow. The secular life didn't seem to care much about my play space of the unknown mystery of things because there were things I needed to learn and things I needed to know to survive. 25 years later, I made the decision to go to seminary with the secret hope to recapture some of those mystical moments. Anybody go to school? Quickly, I discovered that grad school was mostly interested in me knowing things. After 4 years of training to be a minister, I remember the day walking in the woods for the first time in months, how I felt and realized I felt even more distant from my spiritual self than I perhaps had ever been. Kind of ironic, right? The pressures of reading books and writing essays had consumed so much time. Processing and regurgitating information had wrung so much spirit out of me that I barely recognized my soul. I passed through the gates of Unitarian Universalist Ministerial Fellowship Committee. This is the board that approves Unitarian Universalist ministers and proclaims we are competent enough to be a minister. Not completely competent, just enough. And yet not one person on that committee ever asked me about that field beyond wrongdoing and right doing. Do you know that one I mean? The field the great mystic Sufi Rumi speaks of when he says, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in the grass, the world is too full to talk about. What about that place? I told the committee what I knew of UU history and church administration and the justice work I had done, but didn't they also want to know if I could still hear that still small voice inside my heart. Wasn't that important too? Do you know that voice? Do you hear your still, small voice? That voice that lives inside your heart that doesn't want to be tested on what it knows, that doesn't want to read a book or be told what is true, or God, help us write another essay to prove we know it. Grad students, shake your head. Amen. James, I'm seeing a few of you. It's that part of you that savors the state of not knowing as if it was some delicious banquet set out before you. It's that voice that just wants to echo out a sound, just a pure, raw sound of longing. The Sufi mystics speak of it. One night a man was crying, Allah, Allah. His lips grew sweet with the praising until a cynic said to him, so I've heard you calling out, but have you ever gotten a response? The man had no answer to that, and he quit praying, and he fell into a confused sleep. And he dreamt he saw Kadir, the guide of souls, in a thick green foliage. And Kadir said, why did you stop praising? And the man said, because I never heard anything back. This longing, said the guide of souls, this longing that you express is the return message. The grief you cry out from draws you toward union. Your pure sadness that wants help is the secret cup. Listen to the moan of a dog for its master. That whining is the connection. There are love dogs no one knows the names of. Give your life to be one of them. That voice that calls out doesn't care about the things that must be solved or all the answers to all the questions that must be answered in a day. But gosh, there's a lot of questions to be answered in our lives, aren't there? Think about how many things you are expected to know just to live and work in this society. From the youngest of ages, we're trained into some weird belief that somehow we have come here to this life to find answers. That is our purpose, to know. Over and over, from parents to teachers and then bosses and society, we get our little pats on the back for knowing. Good job, Bruce. You knew all those notes. And so we fill our days with this search for knowing because we are subtly taught that to not know is actually shameful. And that if we have experiences that we can't explain, we should keep them to ourselves. But I know some of you have had those experiences. I know all of you have. We hide the fact that we mostly do not know about life, and sadly we get really good at crafting and then vigorously promoting answers that make it sound like we do know, don't we? Guilty? We have become grossly inept at living in even the briefest moments of unknowing. When someone poses a question, how long does it take you to whip out your phone and Google it? Googleism has become the new great religion of our time. Its tenets, thou shalt not sit in the unknown. Thou hast the right to know the answer to everything all the time quickly. And Googleism's priests and bishops, Facebook and Instagram and those influencers, they will be the arbiters of one's connection to the great source of the answer. You laugh, but how many of you know someone who is part of the Googleism cult? A few of you? To be clear, I'm not really knocking the idea of knowing. Knowing is fun. We need to know. And I love a good life hack as much as the next person. But knowing has its time and its place. And so does entering the space of unknowing. I call it that, but it's not a total unknowing. It's just a different sort of knowing, a different sort of relationship with life. And this is the life of the mystic. It's not about the unreal. It's about entering a state of being that opens the heart, the mystical heart, with no need to explain it. Over time, I've come to realize that experiences of the mystic heart are not all running naked through the woods or feeling waves of heat rush through my body. Moments of mystery seek and take hold of us all the time. You know that moment when you run your hand across your bookshelf and it just magically stops at a book that you forgot you even had, and it has a message for you? Or you take that walk on a path that you go many days, but somehow something catches your attention off the path, and so you wander over to that little glittering light, and the next thing you know, you look up and an hour has passed by. Or that moment when you're washing the dishes and you find yourself totally enamored and delighted with the feel of the warm water and the soapy bubbles, and you just start laughing. One of my most favorite mystical experiences in my life is losing my car keys. I'm serious. I love the moment when, after searching everywhere, I find them right in the key bowl by the door where they had been all along and where I had looked 3 times. Because here's the thing, if my keys could be right there, and I still did not notice them, what else is right here, my friends? What else is right here that I am failing to notice in each and every moment? In his book, The Mystic Heart, Wayne Teasdale reminds us that spirituality is profoundly transformative when it inspires in us the attitude of surrender to the mystery in which we live and move and have our being. At its core, that is the practice of mysticism that I hope we each take time to nurture. The practice of simply surrendering to the mystery. The practice of not needing to know so damn much all the time. You do not need to sit at the feet of a yogic master to feel the waves of the mystical in your life. Your mystic heart is as close as your willingness to allow the unknown mysteries of the world to touch you. Albert Einstein once said, "The most beautiful emotion we can experience is the mystical. It is the power of all true art and science. He to whom this emotion is a stranger, who can no longer wonder and stand wrapped in awe, is as good as dead." My friends, there is work to do in this world, and there are things that we need to know and questions we need the answers to. But my sincere prayer for each of us is that we also remember that those questions and answers are only a small part of life. Connection with your mystic heart comes from many places and in many forms. May we each allow the mystic heart to awaken in us. May we each be ready to cry spontaneously, shake spontaneously, smile spontaneously, and lay down in a field where the world is too large to talk about. And let's stop talking about it now, but let's go there now. I'm going to invite you into a time of meditation and ask that the lights be dimmed. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or have soft eyes. I want you to take a breath and find your breath. Breath is often the doorway into a quieter place inside of you. Allow yourself to go in. Allow yourself to go in and in. Set down at the door of your heart the need to know, the need to understand, the need to figure it out. Imagine yourself at that threshold between the known and the unknown. Feel the quivering of your heart. It is sometimes a scary place to stand. And we often back away. We say, not today. But right now, in the quiet of your own interior castle, I invite you to go in and in. Go in and in. Be the space between two cells. The vast, resounding silence in which spirit dwells. Go in and in. Be sugar dissolving on the tongue of life. Be the wave taken back into the ocean. Dive in and in. As deep as you can dive. Be infinite, ecstatic truth. Be love conceived and born in union. Be exactly what you truly seek. Be the beloved, singing yes, tasting yes, embracing yes, until there is only essence. Go in and in. Turn away from nothing you find there, but allow it to be your muse. very gently with yourself before you come back out. Give yourself a message. What is it that still small voice inside of you wants you to know, wants you to unknow? As you are ready, being very gentle, taking your time, begin to make your way back into the room. Open your eyes. Take a moment to let your eyes adjust and look at something. See perhaps if you see it different than you did before. I say that we let the mystery be. What do you think, Greg and Claudia? And now for something a little different. Greg and Claudia Hebert. I'm sorry, was that mean to take you into a meditation then ask you to come out and sing?
Everybody's wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody's worried about what they're gonna do when the whole thing's done. No one knows for certain, so it's all the same to me. Think I'll just let the mystery be. Say what you're gone forever. Some say you're gonna come back. Some say you left in the arms of the Savior in a simple way to laugh. Some say that they're coming back in a garden, bunch of carrots and little peas. Think I'll just let the mystery be. Everybody is wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody is worried about what they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. No one knows for certain, no, it's all the same to me. Think I'll just let the mystery be. Some say they're going to a place called glory, and I ain't saying going back. But I've heard that I'm on the road to purgatory, and I don't like the sound of that. I believe in love and I live my life accordingly. But I choose to let the mystery be. Everybody is wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody is worried about where they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. No one knows for certain, no, it's all the same to me. Think I'll just let the mystery be. Think I'll just let the mystery be.
Thank you. I've been wanting to have that song sung here for so many years, and it's just finally fit. So may we all let the mystery be. May we all knock at the door of our mystic heart and be brave enough to enter, at least once a day, and maybe in the most unexpected places. Blessings to you all. Let's extinguish our chalice. Didn't have a timing device. Is it like noon or something? Close? Oh, sorry, Jeffrey, here you go.
So thank you very much, Greg and Claudia, for that beautiful anthem. That was great. We hope you have been nourished in heart and mind by our worship today. It's always very important to stay in the mystery, and it's very, very fun, I thought, to explore that idea. As our chalice is extinguished this morning, please join me in the final words that are posted in the chat and in our order of service. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again.
Please go now in peace and take peace and mystery wherever you go.